You are the Matrix. I hardly watch movies, but recently I felt a strong nudge to rewatch the movie The Matrix. Back when the movie came out, I only went to the movies to perv on Keanu Reeves. I had such a crush on him. But I'm glad I rewatched the movie because I was thinking about it afterwards, and so many things make sense now. I'm sitting in the car with the engine running because I want to keep the car cool, so I'm hoping that you can hear me above the humming of the aircon. So R.J. Spina, in his book Change Your Mind, says life is a multi-dimensional hall of mirrors, right? And it is designed for self-mastery. These mirrors are what create the illusions of what we perceive and interact with. So I've been thinking about that line from that book, and I've just remembered a memory from when I was a little girl. And I used to love sitting at my mom's dressing table. She had one of those dressing tables that had a fixed mirror in the middle and then two other side mirrors, right? And so behind those mirrors, you could move them and then you could put your cosmetics behind them. So they were essentially doors to her cosmetics, and you could move them. So when mom sat in the dressing table, she would move one of the side mirrors so she could do the back of her head. And I loved watching her. And I remember I also used to sit at the dressing table and play at her dressing table when she wasn't there. So I also discovered while I used to play there that if you held the mirrors at just the right angle, you could make multiple reflections of yourself. And this was so fascinating to me as a little girl. I also discovered that if you held the mirrors at the right angle, you could create like a hall of mirrors effect, which was just absolute fun when I was a little girl. And I loved seeing myself, right? And multiple reflections of me waving back at me. And they looked like there were many me's, but I knew it was just me, right? I didn't realize it at the time, but I was playing, well, I suppose I was laying the groundwork, right, to now understand what R.J. Spina is talking about in his book, right? Creating illusions of many kudzais is just a game that infinity or source has been playing since the beginning of time, right? There are no others, guys. It's just you. This is also what Neville Goddard was talking about when he said, everybody is you pushed out, right? I now understand that each me that I can see is just a reflection of me from a different perspective, right? A different parallel universe. Each parallel universe has its own story, its own plot lines, its own characters and themes. This is what Fred Dodson also talks about in his book, Parallel Universes of Self. So when you encounter all these so-called others, they are just a mirror reflecting back to you something within you, right? So that annoying co-worker, that rude waitress, those annoying habits that your partner has, those nosy neighbors, these are all things that we are here to master. Neville Goddard in his book tells us that we need to choose our reactions to life carefully because they are sculpting our experiences of reality. If you don't like what you see, then change yourself. And then the world that reflects back to you will be a changed world, right? So how does all of this tie into the movie, The Matrix? In the movie, Neo gets to learn that he's the one, right? And he gets to choose how he gets to respond to the negative events in his life, right? These are symbolized by like Agent Smith, who is symbolic of the fears that we all have, right? From childhood traumas and social programming. So once Neo recognizes or realizes that he has to stop running, as in stop reacting to his fears. And when he confronts them head on, he overcomes them, right? That's what symbolized with when he absorbed Agent Smith. That's the same as him absorbing his fears, his shadow side. So once we learn that that parallel universe, with all of its plots, its characters, its themes, is just a hall of mirrors reflecting something within ourselves that we need to resolve, then we can transcend that thing. Do the thing and the death of, no, do the thing you fear and the death of fear is certain. I think it was Ralph Waldo Emerson, or sometimes it said Mark Twain said that. But essentially the idea says you need to act on your fears, right? And that's the only way you overcome them. Another theme that came up when I rewatched The Matrix was the relationship between the main characters, Neo, Morpheus, and Trinity, right? Morpheus, I think, represents your intuition, and Trinity represents love. So when you're in this hall of mirrors and it feels so real that you forget that all of these things that are happening are just projections from your mind, you can ask for help, right? When you're dealing with people, plots, and themes in your universe, you have to do it from a place of love, right? Trinity represents love, right? And with love, you are able to overcome everything. Help also comes in the form of your intuition. When you receive guidance, take action on what you are told to do, right? And taking action is what dissolves the anxiety. It allows you to move past these threats and your fears, and it opens up the possibilities, right, for other options for you to explore. I think that's kind of like me with this YouTube channel. I've taken action and I have moved past the threat of criticism, ridicule, and I am just opening myself up to living with more possibilities. That's all I wanted to share in this video. Let me know if any of you rewatch The Matrix and what sort of themes you guys pick up from the movie. I'm Kudzai on The Road Within, and thanks for your attention. See you next time.